before we start our webinars and introductions, we would like if you please accompany us with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you guys put your right hand over your heart and we can start.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. My name is Lorena with Will Scott, and I am the second VP of ASPE. We can start with Sarah Williams from DPR. She's part of the board of directors for NAWIC. She will share with us an inspiration.
Great, thank you so much for the introduction. Before I start, I wanted to thank the leadership of both ASPE San Diego and NAWIC San Diego for letting me share the inspiration for this joint meeting. In September 2019, I was given the opportunity to participate in a 9-month-long leadership program with 25 other women from my company. Sitting in that room on the first day that we met, I felt small, unworthy, and had more than a little trepidation at bearing my soul on a personal level in pursuit of professional growth. We were asked at the beginning of that session to be all in, to be vulnerable, to listen, and to share. The first exercise was journaling, and we were given the question, what do you like to do for fun, and what makes you happy? I sat confounded. This was what was going to turn me into a great leader? Fun, happy, these were easy words to understand. Why would we start with writing about them? Everyone knew what they meant and how to find it, from toddlers to teenagers, 20-somethings and 80-year-olds. Fun and happiness for me were, wait, what were they? Were they running around after a full day of work straight to networking events, or choosing instead to go to my daughter's midweek softball game, feeling like a failure for not being able to make both? Was fun worrying that I wasn't a good mother when I couldn't chaperone the school field trip because I had a work conflict? Was it saying yes to every project thrown my way to prove my worth? Was it running around at the weekend doing chores all day until collapsing in the evening in exhaustion after finally silencing the voice in my head saying I was lazy if I took a load off? I sat there not writing, realizing that I didn't know how to answer the question posed. I realized I had been too busy concentrating on all of my imperfections, worrying about what people thought of me, being pulled in so many directions that I had lost who I was and couldn't list one simple thing that I did only for myself for the express purpose of my happiness and making me feel good. So I shared that and was shocked to see each of my 25 peers start nodding her head, saying, me too. And just like that, we were all in together on this journey of personal growth. And I had learned an important lesson about leadership and the strength it takes to be vulnerable regardless of the judgment of others, to lead by example and give people the courage to know they are not alone. Why am I sharing this story with you? Because the fight for optimism and hope, happiness and joy is all around us, more imperative to discuss than it has ever been before. And my hope is that sharing a small story of my personal journey may help others listening, that it's not just you. In 2019, 19% of Americans reported taking antidepressants, a figure nearly double the amount of the population reporting antidepressant usage in 2010, and that number continues to rise. In the first month of the pandemic, there was a 21% increase in the number of prescriptions filled per week for antidepressant medications, a situation that is further amplifying the unhappiness and anxiety that our nation is racked with. It seems that happiness, fun, optimism, and joy are not elusive only to me, and I am in good company with a large and growing segment of the population of our country. Maybe some on the call are finding themselves relating to what I am saying, or have friends, colleagues, and family members that are important to them who may share similar feelings. In the slowdown that has occurred over the past year, I've had more time to reflect on all the things I was saying yes to automatically with thinking, and that were keeping me running around like the proverbial chicken with its head cut off, and evaluate what value were they bringing to my life. Was I just checking boxes? Time, I have come to realize, is my most precious resource. And I realized that not only was I not spending my waking time with the people I love the most, I was also not focusing on spending time on efforts, experiences, and people that added value to my life by enriching me, teaching me something new, enlarging my viewpoint, making me laugh, and meeting where I needed to be met. And those people were missing out on me and what I bring to the table. The bliss of not being overcommitted that has come from the cancellation of the things that were pulling me in all directions has lifted a huge weight from me and made me realize that with downtime in my day, I can just be a human being and not what I was, a human doer, defining myself outwardly and inwardly by only what I could accomplish and not who I am. The last year for me personally has been filled with many twists and turns, and if nothing else, I know it has taught me a great lesson about myself. It has clearly reinforced to me that busy doesn't equal happy, and happy isn't something that happens to me passively. It's something I create. It's not a constant state of bliss when found, but matches the ebbs and flows of life and the situations around me. But I can choose my reaction to the situations I find myself in. It's finding the things in life that ignite your passions and motivate you. And guess what? I am learning slowly, one decision at a time, how to create my own happiness and joy, and that tomorrow is too late to put off the pursuit of the things I care deeply about, that enrich my life, and yes, sometimes make me smile with delight. So as I close, I encourage you all to ask yourself that same question that I started with. What do I like to do for fun, and what makes me happy? And then, do I get as much joy as I can out of each day that I am blessed to have alive? Make a practice going forward in every decision you make or fail to make to ask yourself, does this choice diminish me or enlarge me, and choose accordingly. Thank you.
Wow, that was a good inspiration. Ooh, I got chills. Thanks, Sarah.
It's a lot to put in a few minutes.
Yeah. ASPE San Diego would like to take the moment and welcome our new members, Bill Bloom, Reynaldo Naranjo, John Savage, Rigoberto Hernandez, Andrew Kerner, and Edna Rodriguez. So now I want also to introduce Amber Webb and give her the webinar. She is from NAWIC.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Hopefully I'm not muted. Okay. I am the president of the San Diego NAWIC chapter, and again, thank you all for joining, and ASPE, thanks for helping to put this together and this is going to be great. Right now, I just wanted to recognize a couple of our new members. We have Annie Del Rio from Belfort Beatty, Myra Martinez from Helix Electric, Maroni, I'm going to butcher your last name, I'm sorry, Rodenberger from San Diego Lighting Associates, and Lisa Sinclair from California Commercial Security. We welcome you all, and at our next meeting, we'll give you a chance to speak because this is a little different platform. So next meeting, be prepared with a little bit about yourself. You can go ahead and go to the next slide, please.
Awesome, you got it. Yeah, just say slide and I'll slide.
I don't know, was Ashley able to get set up as a panelist? I don't think I see her on here, so I'll just go ahead and talk about this real quick. At the end of this meeting, we are going to have a Ways and Means opportunity drawing. What you see here on the slides are images of the prizes that we're going to basically pick the tickets for here in the opportunity drawing. So if you haven't done so already, you can still purchase tickets for the drawing tonight. You get 1 ticket for $5, 5 tickets for $10, or 15 tickets for $20. And you want to go into Venmo and do Venmo at NAWIC 21-general. So if you don't have the Venmo app, you might want to download it. It's an easy way, or you can, yeah, that's just going to be the best way to do it. Just go on Venmo. All right, next slide.
Okay.
I'm going to pass it back to Lorena.
Yes, I'm going to go ahead and do the introductions now for April McCall. She's an Autodesk and Bluebeam certified instructor, Revit architectural certified professional, and Bluebeam technical consultant. She has over a decade of experience as an application specialist in the AEC industry and 5 years as certified instructor. She enjoys teaching Bluebeam Review, Autodesk Revit, and AutoCAD. While continually learning about new construction technology, she also provides technical support and consults with clients on BIM projects. Her favorite area of BIM modeling is the mechanical discipline, having worked with several mechanical firms over the years. I'm also going to introduce Joshua Miller. He is an Autodesk Revit, structural and architectural certified professional and construction digital practice manager. He follows generations of construction experience and has delivered many disciplines over the years. After completing a construction management degree, Joshua has worked with the Swinnerton Builders Mass Timber Division, initiating the virtual design and construction team. His role included BIM coordination, detailing for mass timber, concrete and structural steel, as well as training and supervising other detailers and overseeing fabrication quality control. And for further ado, I will go ahead and send the webinar to Joshua and April.
All right. All right, so we're going to do takeoffs and estimations two ways. The first thing, I'd like to talk a little bit about Keller Pacific for a second. We are your technology partner. We specialize in Autodesk products, Bluebeams. We have a project service department. We offer BIM services. A lot of the stuff that we do for projects now is scan to BIM. So we take our scanner, we scan your existing conditions, and we can model it up or do whatever you need us to do with it. We also offer IT services. So if anybody out there needs anything, be sure to reach out to us. All right, let me get the next slide going. So these are our presenters today. You guys can all see us out there. I'm going to go ahead and take off with this one, and we're going to jump right into Bluebeam Review, and we're going to see how we can use Bluebeam Review to get some estimation done here. Let me just check this. There we go. So here we go. Once I'm done, I'm going to turn that over to Joshua. And while I'm presenting, I'm going to turn my camera off to kind of minimize the space on the top of the screen. So we'll see you all back here in just a few minutes. All right. Okay, so here we go. So takeoffs and measurements in Bluebeam Review. If you guys can't see the screen, just holler at me, let me know. I have this set of plans that I like to show off the features here. So first of all, we're going to talk about calibration. I'm going to show you guys all kinds of good stuff. So first and foremost, before ever taking any kind of measurements on a plan, you're going to need to set the scale. So we need to talk about collaborating the drawing. Now, one of the new features that came out in around 2019, if you try to take a measurement, okay, notice how over here in the thumbnails tab it says scale not set. If the scale is not set on a sheet, it's going to prompt you as soon as you activate or start up a measurement, something like that. And we'll just say, okay, so that's a great new thing that they added. All right. One of the things I want to say is notice how some of these other sheets have the scale in it. Never trust a drawing that you didn't accurately or calibrate yourself. Okay, so don't trust what you see there. Okay, so I'm just going to start on this page now. And one of the newer things also they added is they added the ability to manually put in a preset scale. Previously, it was going to be pick 2 points. Now, Bluebeam still recommends that you pick 2 points for a more accurate calibration. Now, you could do that with, a dimension. You could do it with a doorway. For this particular sheet, I'm going to go ahead and just use the scale of the sheet, which is 1/8 inch equals a foot. I'm going to start off here in my measure tools. We're going to talk about the different measure tools here. Now we have, length and polylength. Obviously length is taking a dimension here, but polylength is a little bit more. Okay, so I've taken some of these standard tools, and because we're short on time, I'm not going to go through each and every one of these. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my tool chest. Now this tool chest is part of my quantity takeoff profile. So you could take, for the different roles, a lot of us, we wear different hats at our companies. We don't just estimate things. So you can set up profiles to be specific to the role of the job that you're performing at that time. Anyways, I have turned my tool set into MEP takeoffs. My quantity takeoff profile is geared towards, electrical, mechanical, and some flooring and some plumbing takeoff. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit of everything. Some of these tools, I have built-in costs with them. Okay, so let's just kind of jump into this. Rather than going up here and showing you how all these measurement tools work, I'm going to just tell you that the Polylink tool is the tool that I used to get my plumbing takeoffs and my electrical conduit takeoffs. Okay, so when I reference the plumbing takeoffs, you're going to think of this as the Polylink tool. This is how I got this, the Polylink tool. Now, right here in the flooring tool set here, this tool set was created with the area tool. Okay, so As you can see, I have a few on the sheet already. The scale is not set for this particular sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and go to measure, and I'm going to say calibrate. Now again, it asks me to pick 2 points. So 2 common points. Usually this is a dimension on the sheet. Could be a doorway. Make sure you know what size door it is. Or like I said, we can use a preset. So I'm just going to find this door here, and I'm going to say from this point. Now notice how my graphics are a little off on this computer. There's actually a box there, and it's snapping to the content. And anytime I take a measurement or calibrate the drawing, I like to hold down the shift key. And then I'm just going to snap into the other side of this. Now, here's what we could do. Once this calibrate box is prompted, I could put in there, you know, hey, 36 inches, because I know that that doorway is 36 inches. Or I can jump over here to a preset, and I can set this to 1/8 inch equals a foot, which is what I'm going to do for this particular drawing. And then I'm going to apply the scale. Now I'm ready to do my takeoffs. I'm going to show you guys a couple different ways to do a few things. So I'm going to do a little bit of each one. I'm going to do some electrical, some flooring, and some plumbing. So here we go. Right now I have these flooring takeoffs. So let's just say, you know, in this office here, I wanted to add in an area measurement. And again, I'm going to show you a couple ways to do this. So I could go in here and I could choose, I want to put wood in this area like this. Okay. So I've set these area takeoffs to display a hatch, and wait till we get to the markups list. You're really going to love that. I actually associated a cost into that. So as I'm laying these flooring takeoffs out, it's putting the cost and giving me a running total in my markups list, which is kind of like the shebang at the end. So I'm just going to keep going here. I could go around and I could, you know, also do this click, click, click method, but hey, guess what? Who really wants to do that? So I'm going to show you this really cool feature that was added in Review 2017. It's called the dynamic fill. The dynamic fill can be accessed from the measurement flyout, or pressing the letter J. Now, let's just say I had this odd shaped room and I didn't want to go around and make all those clicks. I could go in here. There's certain things that you could create with you could create spaces, polylink measurements, area measurements, polylink, polygon measurements, polylink, perimeter, and then volume. So we're going to uncheck spaces for now. I'm going to take this magic little fill bucket. I'm going to go in here, and there's some settings for this, and just kind of fill that space in. Now, because I have my quantity takeoff profile active, I can pick any one of these type of flooring measurements. Let's say we wanted to put carpet in there, and then just say apply, and boom. Okay, so because we're short on time, I'm going to jump over to the next type of takeoff. So I'm going to go over here into a different sheet that I have. Let's just say we wanted to talk electrical for a minute. Okay, so I have this sheet here with some conduit. Now, again, this is using the Polylink tool, but I've created my own custom tools. So I'm going to jump back over to my tool set. We're going to focus on the electrical takeoff tool set for now. I'm going to just kind of zoom in here and show you how this works. We can see this is 3/4 inch conduit. So I'm going to go up here into my 3/4 inch conduit. I'm going to select it. And I'm big on keeping straight lines. So I'm going to just make my first click, hold down that shift key, and then go over here. Now let's just say, you know, you're done here. You want to double click to end, and it puts in the 3/4 inch conduit. Now, let's say there was a rise or a drop in this conduit run right here. If there happens to be a rise or a drop, we need to account for that too. So let's just say that it goes up to the second floor and it's about 16 feet up. We have to select this takeoff here. We can go over to the measurement properties, and we can apply a rise and a drop. So I'm just going to say, you know, it's going up 16 feet here. And then, oh, okay, 16 feet, square feet. All right. So what that did is it applied it, but you're not seeing it because right now I have my label turned off. So I'm going to say there and there. Okay, you can control the type of stuff you want to see. Obviously, you know, if you're going to have conduit this close together, you're not going to want to have all these labels on. So when I'm doing this, I don't really have any labels on in the sheet if I'm going to be performing a takeoff. But notice how it does have the rise and the drop of 16 feet. When I added that rise or drop, and I just want to kind of back up here, if I were to remove this, it's going to remove the rise and the drop, and it's going to update the overall length. And again, if you're doing takeoffs, you may not want to see the label or the length on this, because where this really starts to become important is when we get into the markups list. Okay. A couple other things I want to show you here, you know, as far as the Polylink measurement goes, because I've got a lot of stuff to show you. So I'm going to jump back over into the tool set here. Before we do, I'm going to show you another way to do this. I have here a plumbing plan, a plumbing sheet, and I have tons of takeoffs here. And I want to give you guys a couple little tips here. Notice how we have, you know, a storm drain here and an overflow drain. Let's just say we wanted to, and notice how it changes in size. I got a couple little tips for you here. It's six inches here, and then it turns into 4 inches over here. So here's what we're going to do there. We're going to add in some overflow drain or overflow storm. And I'm going to start right here at the end where the rise and the drop is. And again, I'm using my shift key to make that perfect straight line. And I'm going to make a click right here. I always like to make a couple clicks at the T's or the Y's. And then over here, I'm going to double click where the drop is. And that's going to add that run in there. Now, the reason why I added in those extra clicks at each one of those Y's is because I may want to change the size. Now, right now, I have different segments. Well, let's say I wanted to, you know, and if I wanted to continue on right here, there are some actions for that. You can always say, you know, resume overflow storm drain, and that'll allow you to pick up where you left off. But this, there's some sort of a Y in here, and the size changes here. So I'm going to click right here on this portion of it. It probably changes actually right here, but you guys will get the idea. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say, split this off. When I do, this says 6 inches. I should have did the split more like in here. And then there's this piece here. So different labels, you're going to control different labels. Notice how over here it's 3/4 inch conduit. Well, there isn't that many sizes of conduit, which is why I have each size here. There's probably what, one or two more sizes I'm missing here. And notice how over here in my plumbing takeoffs, I don't have any specific size set out. The reason why is because the sizes vary from, you know, a 1/2 inch or even smaller all the way up to, you know, 8 or 10 inches, depending on the type of piping system. So where we differentiate the sizes of plumbing pipes is going to be in the markups list. Okay, so I'm just going to pull that up for now to show you. Okay, so I have quite the spread here on my markups list. And if I click on this takeoff, I have created many custom columns here. I got price per foot, I got total cost, I got cost per fixture, you know, and some of these things are going to automatically populate as I go and lay them out. But I also have this one called pipe diameter. So I can take this here and I can make this 4. And I can click on this one. I see some questions popping up. I think I'm going to wait till right at the end to get to the questions, just to kind of save time here. I could run you guys into tomorrow if you let me. Okay, and we could say that this one here is, you know, 6 inches. So, you know, going back, you know, in here and just showing you that this is possible. Also, you can see that there's a rise and drop here. So let's just say we wanted to take this 4-inch pipe and we wanted to add a drop. We would go over to the measurement properties and we would say that this drops down or up. We'll just say, you know, 15 feet again. And when you do, you see the rise and the drop start to fill out in the comments. I haven't added a cost into this, but what I do, and I know I'm kind of jumping around a little bit because there's just so much to show you, but I do want to show you this real quick. I'm going to jump back over to my sheet that had my flooring takeoffs. And I'm going to show you that these two that we added together, if I click on them, I said that the carpet is going to cost $1 per square foot, which could be possible. And as I placed that area takeoff in there, it populated in the cost. Okay. We're going to do some more things here is for takeoffs. But those are the two main ones that I wanted to show you with the Polylink measurement and the area takeoff. Okay. I have another sheet in here that I have set up. It's a very busy sheet here. And we're going to use this feature called visual search. Now, one of the things you're going to notice also is if I jump over here to my tool chest, we can do this a couple ways. So I have, I have the F10A light fixture, and these are in here as count tools. Okay, so as I place, I could manually go in here and say F10A, this is the F10A, 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 and F10A. Yeah, that could take a little time consuming, but that's what we do as estimators. I remember walking into my estimator's office and she had her little rolling wheel and she would be doing her ductwork takeoffs and she'd have her cheat sheets and her markers and her highlighters and all that other fun stuff. You could do all that in review now. So if I click on this group of count measurement, okay, the way I created this is I made a text box. I made it a count tool. I right clicked. If you want to just do the standard out of the box count tool, it's available right here in the measure drop down. Now, if I click on this group here, you'll see it highlight in the markups list. There's 5 of those. And I know $5 doesn't seem like a lot. Those are probably like $500. But I built the cost into that fixture, the F10A. So, for 5 of those, it's $25, which again, they're probably like $500 more realistically. So that's one way you could go around and use the count tool, count. But what if we told you we could make that easier for you? We're going to do something called visual search. And we are going to use this floor plan. It's a very busy floor plan, and there's many light fixtures. I'm going to go down over here into the visual search and activate the search. Okay, right now, you could do the current document, but if you're going to be estimating this particular floor, it's good practice to just do this current page. Otherwise, it's going to be searching the whole document. And if you have many sheets, you may want to do this page per page. All right, so we have 2 search options here. I'm going to show you how to do a text search too, just to kind of throw that in there. But to start, we're going to say get rectangle. Now, I personally, if I were going to be doing this, I would want to go to a nice clean sheet. We all know that the electrical symbol sheet is a great place to start. So I'm going to do the, let's see, I'm going to mix it up here. Let's do the F10C. So I'm going to use this count measurement, which again has a cost associated with it. So after we say get rectangle, notice how my cursor's changed into a little plus sign. I'm going to just go here and I am going to draw a box around the F10C. It's a nice clean, image. Jump back over here to my search. This is what it's going to search for. Then I'm going to jump back over to the sheet I want to perform the takeoff on. And then I'm going to go back to search and say, hey, this current page, let's search for this. Now, like anything, you're going to want to check your work. This is a sensitivity bar. If it's set too low, it may not pick everything up. If it's set too high, it may pick up things that look similar to it. And I see my question box is flashing like crazy and I almost can't help myself. So I'm going to just take a little peek at it. Okay, questions, I'm going to go. All right, nothing we need to worry about right this moment. Perfect. All right, so these are the search terms. And again, my graphics are a little off on this brand new laptop that I have, but these are some of the things that you can add into the search. I'm just going to go ahead and click the search button. And you can see that the results are calculated. So what it's doing is it's basically scanning the sheet for this fixture right here. All right, so a couple little things that I can throw out there. So it looks like it found its results. I'm going to minimize the markups list just to kind of help it generate the preview here. It's going to give us a list of every single one that it found. It looks like it found 119. So here's what I like to tell people. If you're going to be utilizing this search feature like this, it's a good idea to scroll down and check your work. Okay, it may have picked up something that it didn't belong to. Before I do, I'm going to hit this select all button here. It's going to check all these off. And then I'm going to go through here and I'm going to see if it picked up something that didn't quite belong. And it will also pick the rotated ones for you. Sometimes if you have like emergency lights, depending if, you know, which light fixture we're selecting, it could possibly pick those up as well. And then you just go in and uncheck them. Okay, it looks pretty good. Let's talk about the actions that we can apply. We can hyperlink those to a manufacturer website with the actual spec sheet. So if that's something that you wanted to do, you could do that. We could also apply a count measurement. One of the things that I do when I teach the MEP class is I usually have them start with highlight check. Again, you can remove the highlights at the end. This is something, this does something for me personally visually, and it doesn't have to be for everyone. So what it did is it just threw a highlight over each one of those. And now I'm going to go in and apply a count measurement. If you don't have these light fixture count tools made up like this, you could go in and do an out of the box checkbox, triangle, square. But since we have it, we're just going to click on it and notice how it adds that count measurement. Now I can go through and scan around my floor and I can look for anything it may have missed. Guess what? It's not perfect. It might have missed one depending on the level of sensitivity on that bar. So I'm just going to scroll around and make sure it didn't miss anything. And it looks like it may have missed one here. So how do we get that light fixture? Well, we're going to click on it, the whole count, which is 119, and I'm going to right click. I'm going to say resume count, and I'm going to place one over there like that. Okay, and then if it happens to pick one up that doesn't belong in the group, for example, the emergency lights, all you would have to do is right click and you would delete that particular one from the group, which we're not going to do. Okay, so that's using visual search. You know, so it's not for everyone. I have some, you know, some of our people we work with, they say, you know, we still want our guys to manually go in there and, you know, go in each room and use this as a tool. They don't want to use the visual search, but it's there. Okay. So that's the count tool, and then some of the other measurement tools. How am I doing on time? How many minutes in am I? I want to make sure I get everything in. Anybody know? Feel free to shout it out.
It's 6:11. Can you hear me?
Yeah. How am I doing? How many minutes? How long do I got?
Is Joshua going to present as well?
Yeah. Let me speed it up a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. I know we had a little. All right. So I've showed you kind of the main things here. But what we really want to get out of this is the markups list. I'm just going to pull this up pretty far. Since I've added in those light fixtures, I'm going to click on that group right there. I built the cost into this with a custom column. You can see there's 120 on of those. Each fixture costs $250. I'm giving you a total of $30,000. All right. So at the end of the day, how do we manage this? Well, I'm going to go ahead and click on the summary report. I'm going to say PDF summary. I'm going to go over here into the columns. I'm going to speed up just a tiny bit. And, you know, you could turn on and off the columns that you want. You can go in here and filter and sort these out. For example, if I were an electrical estimator, I would not be wanting to count, you know, flooring or overflow storm drain or anything like that. I wouldn't want to do tile or, you know, waste or wood. So let's just take off the highlight. We don't need that in there. we're going to just do one large list of everything. We are the ultimate estimators tonight. We do it all, okay? Every trade. We're going to go into the output folder here. Just going to add this, make this go right there, select the folder, and we're going to call this, you know, estimated. I like that. You can create multiple reports per subject, which will allow you to have a report for each, you know, trade or subject. I'm just going to make one big one for the sake of time. I'm going to take this off. I can append this to the current PDF. One of the things I'm going to do is I want to hyperlink these all. If you append it to the current document, it automatically hyperlinks everything back, but we're just going to do it this way. We're going to hyperlink it. It's going to save it to a location. You could put the date and the time. And again, we're talking about estimating, so I'm going to leave all this other stuff out. We can say OK, and it's going to generate a report of everything. So while this is generating a report, I'm going to talk about another feature I'm going to show you. And it's going to be the last thing I'm going to show you. It's called Quantity Link. Quantity Link is available in Bluebeam Extreme Edition. Rather than me opening this up in my Excel file, I'm going to show you a video that I sped up, and I muted it because if you hear me, I sound like a chipmunk going, and you don't want to hear that. So once this report's done generating, I'm going to open up my Quantity Link video and show you what the Quantity Link feature does. All right, it's taking its sweet time, isn't it? I think it's because we're connected to a GoToWebinar. There we go. Awesome. Okay, that's what we got. So it's going to obviously sort it and filter it out. Like we got conduit. It's telling us, you know, the total length and the price per foot. We got the total cost here. The fixture. These are the different columns. Again, you're not going to have a fixture cost if you're doing a conduit takeoffs here. But all this information that you're seeing in here is adjustable. So, you know, and then when you got the piping, you can see that the rise and the drop is all here. If I click on this, it's hyperlinked back to the drawing. So it'll jump me over to where it lives in the plan. And that's called PDF summary reports. You can take this report, you can order your materials and, you know, whatever you need to do with it. Now, the next and last thing that I'm going to show you for this evening, because, you know, we only have so much time to do so much. There's the 120 light fixtures that we counted up. Quantity Link, and I'm going to play a little video, and while it plays, I'm going to talk. And it's so funny, when I listened to this earlier, I literally sound like a chipmunk. Okay, what I'm doing right now, I'm going to talk fast, is I'm establishing a link between the PDF and an Excel file. So this Excel file is something that you can have already set up. Once you establish the link, you can go in here and you can tell this, you know, every time a piece of 1-inch conduit is added. So here I am, I'm picking the project. So this is the new project. This is the PDF set that we want to establish the link with. Once the link is established, we go into the columns and say, hey, we want to take this 1-inch conduit and we want it to be the total, and I know it's fast. So basically what I'm doing is I'm pre-filling this out. This is something, again, that can be done ahead of time. It can be done before you even start doing your takeoffs. Now, the neat thing about this is once that link is established and these fields are set up to work with each other, from this point moving forward, anytime that anything in that category is added, such as the light fixtures, it'll automatically update this Excel sheet. And then, you know, notice at the bottom right here, we have some unexpected costs where we add, you know, an overage for, you know, maybe we need to add an overage in there. So it depends on how you have your Excel set up. And I know it's like super fast, but what we're doing is that we're telling the total length, you know, versus, you know, toilets. We can even count in toilets or however, you know, whatever kind of thing that we're doing an estimation for. There's the pipe diameter. Obviously, each pipe size is going to have a different cost associated with it. Again, we're picking the length, and then we're picking the 4-inch diameter. it's automatically populating. So that is Quantity Link. That's all that I had to show you all this evening. I am going to go ahead and turn it over to Joshua, just for the sake of time. Before I do, let me show you this last little part of this video. So I'm going back into the plumbing sheets, and I'm going to zoom in here to this storm drain. If I click on this storm drain and I update that at all, notice how on the right-hand side, it automatically updates the square footage. Right there. And then again, if I select that takeoff, you see it update in the Excel file. And that's all I have for you guys. Let me get back up our PowerPoint slide here and welcome Joshua to the table and to the floor. Welcome, Joshua. We're ready for you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Welcome.
I just need to make me presenter really quick.
Absolutely.
So today I'm going to be talking about, so April's kind of showed us how to take off 2D documents in Bluebeam. What I'm going to do is show you guys how to leverage a BIM model to do your quantity takeoff and estimating. So we're using a tool called a symbol. And a symbol, so the presentation tonight, we're going to focus on a symbol with Revit, but obviously there's a couple different options here. If you go to Symbol Systems Downloads, you'll see that there's integration with Revit, AutoCAD, Civil 3D, Navisworks, and then there's some periphery kind of accessory items, Excel, Oracle, Power BI, Sage, and Class Editor. So some of your like your Sage estimating database, you can link to a Simple Systems. And I'm going to kind of show you some of this tonight. The thing to note about a symbol is that since it's a 3D estimating tool, it's going to be using the building information model to do everything. So I'm going to pull up my model really quick. Okay, here's the model that I have. So this is a pretty developed model. I've got all of my plumbing, piping in here, some of my fixtures. But if your model's not as far along, that's kind of your limiting factor with the symbol, because it's only going to take off things that are in the model. And I'll kind of show you that here in a second. So if we're in Revit, it's pretty simple. Once you download the Assemble plugin for Revit, you're going to have an Assemble tab at the top. Pretty simple. There's two options. There's Publish and Sync. Publishing just publishes the model to your Assemble server, and that's a pretty simple process. You're going to choose the server, and then it'll automatically go through the model and upload everything. Syncing pulls down the information that you may have put into Assemble from the Assemble server back into your Revit model, and I'll show you that when we get into Assemble. So let's switch over to Assemble now. So over here, I'm in my Assemble dashboard. I've got 3 projects. We're going to click on the Training for Tonight project, obviously. Open that up. It's taking a second to load here. So you see I have 2 views and 3 models. So I have the architectural model, the structural model, and then the model that we were working on, which is the plumbing model. So I'm going to show you a couple things here. If I click on the architectural model, this is a view that I've set up. So you'll see on the left here, you've got a model tree, which has all 3 models available. We only have the one architectural model turned on right now. And you'll see that I've filtered this on the left. You'll see that the items with the crossed out are not shown on the very far right, which is the 3D view. So this 3D view is the view of the whole model, but what I've done is I've isolated just the scope of work that we're concerned with, which in this case is the mechanical equipment, the fabrication pipework, and the plumbing fixtures. So because this is an architectural model, we're kind of limited into what we can take off, right? We can't add piping. you know, we can't add anything to the model in Assemble. We'd have to go back to Revit and do that. And since this is the architect's model, we're not going to be adding anything to this model. So it's important to realize the limitation of this. But let me show you really quick how this works. So right here in the middle, this is, it's reading elements from the model. It's giving me the name of each element, and I've got a couple columns set up. So in this case, I've got quantity, unit, model name, count, assembly code, unit cost, and total cost. So you'll see right off the bat, I've got a couple of these costs already in, $500 for a couple sinks that I've set up. Now you'll notice that Assemble doesn't automatically have the costs in the system, right? So the cost is something that the user would have to add. Let me show you how to do that. So if we click on one of the elements from the model, let's say we're going to click on this water heater. It's a 40-gallon water heater. I'm going to click on it, and right away it's going to take me to the very far right. You'll see I have Assemble properties and model properties. So essentially what these are parameters. So the model properties are reading parameters from the Revit model. So these are the parameters associated with the individual element. The Assemble properties are properties that the system administrator sets up to organize the estimation. So what I've done, for example, is you'll see this bid package parameter. I've marked this as bid package plumbing, and that's actually how I filtered this view. So if you go back over to the left, on visibility settings, you'll see that I have the visibility set to show only the bid package for plumbing. And that's something I set up by filling in these parameters. So you'll notice here on the Assemble properties that so the last three variables are the most important. You've got quantity, unit cost, and total cost. So quantity, the quantity tab here is going to tell Assemble what we're taking off. So in this case, we're taking off the count. And then all we need to do is plug in a unit cost. So let's say $750. I hit enter, and it'll automatically populate the total cost based on how many water heaters were in the model, which was 27. If I hit save, you'll notice that it automatically populated over here in the center. So maybe we want to work a little bit faster. So there's a couple different ways that we could kind of automate putting in some of these cost parameters, right? So if I go here to the top, let me show you really quick first how we can manipulate the columns. So if I click on column, it's going to give me the Assemble properties that I can put in the columns. On the right here are the columns that I have active. On the left are the available columns. It's going to give me Assemble properties and model properties. So maybe I want to calculate area, for example, or I want to calculate length would probably be something better. So I could do length. So that added it here to my column tab, and now you'll see that it's automatically updated here. So we do have some things that have lengths. So in order to kind of expedite some of the data entry, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to Import Export. I'm going to export this to Microsoft Excel. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. It's automatically going to export to my Downloads folder. So if I click on this, it will eventually open what we're working on. And you'll see if I zoom out a little bit, it basically is just a breakdown of what we were just looking at in Assemble. So we could filter this, we could sort this, but what we're going to do right now is we're going to input the costs. So right now I've got mechanical equipment, M square exhaust fan 24 inch by 24 inch. So I'm just going to come up with a cost. I'm just going to put 5. I'm going to fill this down. Basically, make each one of these $5. I'm gonna save this. Just gonna save it to my desktop for now. If I go back to Assemble, I can import that same Excel file. Click Import. It'll give me an update. So it's telling me that we've changed 45 instant properties. So that sounds about right. I guess we had 45 of those girls. So if we look now to find it, we see it here, the exhaust fan 24 inches by 24 inches. Now it's been updated to, the cost has been updated and the total cost is automatically updated. Now, we might want to automate this just a step further, and we can do this by using the assembly codes. So in order to kind of explain this, I need to back up a little bit. So we're going to go back to, let's save, we're going to update this view. So we're going to save the work we've done. We're going to go back to our main hub. We're going to click on the project, and then I'm going to edit the project. And you'll see I've got here on the left-hand side under data trees. If I click on manage data trees, I'll see all of my assembly codes, right? So in Revit, there are items from the Revit model are automatically associated with some assembly codes. And what we can do, so let's say we wanted to pick on those sinks that we were talking about that are $500. So I've actually gone ahead and done this from previously, but we might want to update this. So I'm gonna export this to Excel. I'm gonna open it up. So as you can see, this is giving me all the assembly codes that are available in Assemble. Now we were looking at the sinks, so we need to go all the way down to D and find those sinks. So in this column, this is what Assemble is going to go through and tie to the quantity takeoff. So we're doing a count. If we were doing piping, we would want to do length. So I'm gonna update these sinks. I'm gonna make them $200 for all of these categories. And maybe I want to find something else. We'll see if there's let's see what we can find here. Let's just do pipe and fittings. So we're going to do that length, and maybe it's $1.20 for the length. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this again. I'm going to go ahead and save it to the desktop. I'm going to go back to Assemble, and now I'm going to import that same spreadsheet that we were just working on. Now, of course, you don't have to use the assembly codes that are within Assemble. You could set up your own unique assembly codes, or you could bring your own assembly codes over from, let's say, your estimating database. So I'm gonna go ahead and verify what we did worked. I'm gonna find those sinks, see how it's updated to $200, and I'm going to see if I can find looks like piping and fittings did not update. So it looks like we did something incorrect with that. And it might be because we didn't have the quantity tab correct. So we put in length here. That might not be what Assemble likes. So we'd want to double check that. But for the purposes of this example, we're just going to go ahead and hit done. We're going to hit done again. We're going to go back into the architectural view. And now what we're going to do is we're going to verify. I'm going to click on one of those sinks that I've got. And on the screen here, let's see. I go to webinar, obstructing my view a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to click on the assembled properties. And you'll see how under identity data, under model properties, we've got this assembly code for sinks. Now, if I click on it, it brings you back to my master assembly code list, and I could reassign it to a different assembly code if I wanted to. I'm going to keep it that way. And maybe I'm going to add some other things too. So let's see if we have any more sinks. Looks like we've got everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the estimate tab. I'm going to click into that. This is going to create an estimate based on those assembly codes that we were looking at. So if I do redo all, it's going to update those sink assembly codes. So if I click create estimate and close, we'll see that Assemble has gone through, read that these sinks have the assembly code, and automatically updated the cost. So you can see how useful that could be, especially if you have a lot of assembly codes or assembly code system already set up. What we could also do is link this to our Revit model. So what we'd want to do in that case, let's go back to the main hub here for a second, click into the project. If I go to edit project, go back to manage my data trees, I can export a text file for Autodesk Revit. I'll go ahead and export that. That's going to be in my downloads folder. I'm going to get my Revit model back. And if I go to the Manage tab, under Additional Settings, I can actually update where I'm reading. Oh, it's over here on the other screen. I can update where I'm reading my assembly code from. So I'm going to browse into that text file that we just created. And it's going to be this one. Okay. So it's gone ahead and done that. So now we've got the assembly code system within Revit. And for example, if we click into a pipe, then I go to edit type, you'll see under identity data, we don't have an assembly code. So I'm going to go into here. And I'm going to choose an assembly code. In this case, I'm going to choose the cold water service. Hit OK. So that'll associate my Revit pipe with an assembly code. And when I re-upload that to Assemble, it'll automatically fill in that parameter. And it works the same way, right? We talked about syncing from Assemble into Revit. If I go back into this, if I update, so let's look at something here. Just click on this. If I look at the Assemble properties, and if I update any of these fields that are available to be updated in the model properties, and then in Revit I sync my Assemble model back to Revit, it'll automatically update those parameters. So I might want to change the assembly code within Assemble and then push that back to Revit. Or I might want to have a comment, or I might want to put in the name of the manufacturer, anything like that. Obviously, we can't change some of these dimensional parameters because Assemble doesn't allow us to actually change model elements. It just allows us to manipulate the data within the Revit model. So let me show you really quick the other view that I have set up here. Let me go back into a symbol. So if I click on this view, this is the view of our work in progress model. So this is the model that we're actually modeling as the plumbing subcontractor or the mechanical engineer. So it's a lot more developed, right? It's got our pipe in, it's got all of our fittings, it's got all of our equipment. Everything's really well thought out. So what I might want to do with a model like this is that every time I upload, I might want to show the changes. So unfortunately, this is a pretty big model size and we're not able to look at this in a live session. But let's say I was going to change something in my model. I'm going to change this plumbing fixture from a UR1 to UR3, changing the type. If I uploaded that to a symbol, it would automatically log the change, and then if I did show changes, I could print a report of what has changed and how the cost is changing over time. So a symbol kind of has multiple uses, right? You could take a model from an architect or an engineer and estimate it, take a quantity takeoff, do your cost estimate from their model, but then within your own firm, as you're developing your model, whether you're an engineer or a subcontractor, you can log your changes, automatically update your costs, and use a symbol to control your costs while you're modeling. So that's kind of how all I have to show you for a symbol. It's a very simple tool to use. It doesn't really require you as a user to do a lot within a symbol itself. But like I said at the beginning, your use of symbol, the quality of your symbol estimate is really going to be found in your Revit model. So if you're going to be using a symbol to estimate, you need to understand, recognize the limitations, and use it to its maximum advantage. So that's all I have. I'm gonna turn it back over to April.
Awesome, thank you, Joshua. I believe Ashley's going to be presenting some drawings for the raffle. Before we do, I am going to turn back on my camera here. And let me share my screen. Okay. Could you make me the presenter?
In April, just so you know, we have a little bit more before Ashley goes.
Yep. Okay, sure, no problem.
All right, so on behalf of both of our organizations, NAWIC and the ASPE, I just wanted to present the two of you with certificates, there we go, of appreciation. We'll get these in the mail for you for presenting tonight. We do appreciate you taking the time to speak with both of our membership. So thank you again for taking the time to speak with us tonight.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thank you, April and Joshua. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. All right, let me see if I can get a picture. Do you girls have an option to snap a picture? Okay, let's do this. This is going to be my selfie. You guys know
Lorena, smile.
Please smile. Normally there's a little button right at the top, but I don't see it tonight, so good enough. Oh, we need another one.
There's Ashley.
Okay, there we go. Scoot down a little. 1, 2. Yeah, I got it.
Okay, there we go. So on behalf of NAWIC, we just have a couple of announcements before we go ahead and do our opportunity drawing. For WIC Week, it's the second week of March this year. So our WIC Week chair unfortunately could not make it to this meeting, so she was supposed to present, so I will just handle it for her. The Board of Directors meeting, I know it lists there on March 9th. We actually just had our Board of Directors meeting tonight. So we have moved that to the 8th of March. So if anyone does want to attend the board meeting, just reach out to me directly and I can get you an invite. But our general membership meeting on March 9th is actually going to be at noon, from noon to 1. So that flyer will go up on our website. I know it's a little bit different than what we typically do. We're going to kind of try a lunch webinar instead of a 5:30 p.m. webinar to see if it changes anything, give it a little mix up. And then also we're going to have on March 10th, because it is WIC week, so everyone knows WIC week is Women in Construction Week. It's where we, you know, just kind of highlight all the things that women do in construction and, you know, highlight NAWIC and all of our programs and all the things that we do as a association, which right now is a little bit limited due to our circumstances, but we still have some events that we're going to be putting on. So Wednesday, March 10th, we're going to be doing a no-host mixer at the Coronado Brewery in Linda Vista. A flyer will go up on the website. Of course, it will be social distance. It's outside on the patio. Masks are required. They do allow dogs, I believe. I know they allow dogs. I don't know what other pets, but dogs are allowed. Thursday, March 11th, we will also be having a Jeopardy night. It's also going to be a virtual event. It is going to be a $10 donation. So again, flyers will go up on our website for that. Just a reminder to all NAWIC people, April 30th is our Pacific Southwest Regional Spring Forum out in Utah, Salt Lake City, Utah. Registration is already being accepted. Early bird ends February 22nd. So if you are able to fly and make it and go to that, early bird pricing for registration ends February 22nd. So get on that. And then just another reminder to keep on your calendar, August 11th through the 14th is our 66th National Conference out in the Carolinas. So that was the announcements that I have. I would like to pass it off to Ashley now to do our Ways and Means opportunity drawing.
Okay, so we have Myrna, myself, Pamela, Brigitte, Linda, Mary Webb, Amber Webb, and that is who's purchased tickets. If anybody else has, let me know now. We good? So we are going to be doing 4 prizes tonight. We're going to be doing first up $50 to Grubhub, donated by Carol with United Site Services. But first I'm going to go ahead and shuffle for you guys because this is, you know, we're going to make it fair, right?
Like that.
Okay, one more shuffle. So we are going to do the Grubhub $50 gift card. Brigitte,
Nice.
y'all, she won last month too. So I'm just saying, don't neglect the drawing tickets. Next up, we are going to do the waterproof Bluetooth speaker donated by TrueDuct.
I really wanted in on that. I'm like so bummed. I was so focused on what I was doing, I didn't get to do it. But I have it up.
Linda. Nice.
Yay!
And just so you guys know, these are either going to be like gift card will be emailed to you. The prizes will be mailed to you this month. We tried to coordinate that this month to make it a little bit easier with COVID. Okay, so next up, we're going to do the lawn blow drying brush donated by Linda Young, who just won with CSOS Consulting. Really?
Nice, Brigitte. Nice.
That's what happens. She went for the big purchase with the $20, and that's what happens. All right, so last up, we have a 2-bottle wine gift set donated by Carnivale Realty and Loans.
Oh, nice.
Congratulations, guys. Thank you guys all for contributing. We will contact you guys to get your prizes sent out. We appreciate it so much, and it really, really helps our chapter. So thank you guys.
All right, ladies.
Well, thank you
Thanks,
so much.
everyone.
Yes, our meeting is adjourned. Have a good night. Thank you so
Good
much.
night. Thank you for having us. I really appreciate
Oh,
it.
no, thank you, April and Joshua. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Can't wait to see you all in person again.
I know.
Yes.
Hopefully soon.
Yes,
You can
Yeah.
come to the no-host mixer on the 10th.
be there.
Yes.
All right.
Be safe,
Bye,
April and
everyone.
Ellie.
Oh, I'm
Be
got
safe.
this hotel room here. All right,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone. Thank you.